Tom, thanks for meeting with us today. If you would give us a brief description of the Next Chapter Book Club process, that would be great.
Absolutely. The Next Chapter Book Club was started about 8 years ago with the whole notion of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities being able to read, thinking that why can't they belong to a book club? So we started with the premise that regardless of how people read or what level they were at intellectually, that they could be part of a book club. And so there's three basic components to the book club. The community component, in that all of our book clubs meet in the community in a bookstore, a cafe, coffee shop. And anybody can be a part of the club. So the whole idea is to have 6 or 8 people who are engaged and have social relationships on a weekly basis for an hour. And then literacy, of course, the whole idea of adult learning is very foreign for people, particularly adults with developmental disabilities, because they're not thought to be capable or interested in reading. So those three things kind of work together, none more important than the other in our estimation.
Mm-hmm. How do people with and without disabilities become involved?
Well, again, we take all comers. Our hallmark has been we want anybody, regardless of their ability to read, to be able to be a book club member. So we have people at all different levels. In fact, of the 175 or 180 book clubs that we have around the country, I would say none of them, or virtually none of them, have good readers or bad readers. I mean, we don't lump people together. It's all about diversity and having a good time and being in the community. We have 2 volunteer facilitators for each of our book clubs, and sometimes those are people with disabilities and sometimes there are people without disabilities. And we have some book clubs that do have people without disabilities that participate, but we're not quite there to the extent that it's fully inclusionary in that regard.
Okay. And how is choice embedded within the process?
Completely, because what happens is people are given an opportunity to choose what book they read. They're given a chance to order a drink or a beverage or a sweet roll or whatever. We meet, as I say, in bookstores, coffee shops, and cafes. So for some of these people, they've never ordered their own drink. We've had people in our book clubs that literally have never had the experience of ordering their own drink. So it's about choice in that they can decide when they're going to meet, how they're going to meet. They have a lot of variability in terms of how the book club is run. I mean, how much they talk versus how much they read versus how much they maybe do a social outing after they read a book, and those kinds of things.
So you mentioned that people with varying levels of intellectual disabilities can participate. Is there a way that they can actually listen to the book? Is there an audio book option?
When we first started the Next Chapter Book Club program, we thought our conception was that everybody would have a book on tape, so we went out and bought a bunch of tape recorders because we thought that people would want to read the book, want to listen to the books on tape, and then come and talk about them like conventional book clubs. And we've never opened the tape recorders. People really love trying to read. They really love having the book in their hands and feeling empowered to read, and at any level. Whether they recognize a letter, a sound, a word, it doesn't matter. For those that have really virtually no reading capability, we still call them emergent readers. So we still, talk about people as capable. And so if someone doesn't read conventionally, one of our facilitators or some of the other book club members will, in fact, help them out, read a line, read a couple words, and they repeat. So we call that echo reading, and we do a lot of that. And that's kind of how it works.